كانت حطت وقعته
لترشيح لعماد ميشيل عون.
المعارضة السورية هي اللي تحدد من يمثلها.
Good afternoon. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Yumna Naufal, and these are today's top stories. Prime Minister Tamam Salam calls for ending the vacuum in the presidency, adding that the Lebanese body cannot be complete without its head. Syrian opposition members meet for a third day to decide whether to attend UN peace talks with less than 24 hours before the negotiations are due to open in Geneva. And Iranian President Hassan Rouhani will agree a host of commercial deals during a visit to France that offers the clearest demonstration yet of the Islamic Republic's post-sanctions buying power. Prime Minister Tamam Salam is calling for ending the vacuum in the presidency, adding that the Lebanese body cannot be complete without its head. He said during a healthcare conference, a body without a head cannot be effective, and he will not abandon his duties towards his country. He does not pass up any opportunity to highlight the need to fill in the presidential vacuum, he remarked. And he added that he hoped that they will have an opportunity for all political powers to realize that if they cannot overcome their personal interests, then they will not be able to protect their country. Lebanon has been without a president since the term of Michel Sleiman ended in May 2014, almost 2 years ago. Ongoing disputes between the rival March 8 and 14 camps over a compromise candidate have thwarted the polls. Lebanese Forces Chief Samir Jaja is stressing the necessity to allocate funds to hold municipal elections on time. The cabinet should swiftly secure the funding necessary to hold the municipal elections, he said. He wrote this on Twitter. This is after the 20-month vacuum at the top state post has raised questions on whether the municipal elections set for later this year will be held on time. Different political figures, including Speaker Nabih Berri, Interior Minister Nuhad Mashnouk, Change and Reform Bloc Leader MP Michel Aoun, and Future Movement, have expressed early in January their support to hold the polls on the scheduled time. Lebanon has been without the president since May 2014. And ongoing disputes between the rival March 8 and 14 camps over a compromise candidate have been blocking the polls. Hezbollah is expected to break its silence over the latest rapprochement between the Lebanese forces and the Free Patriotic Movement on Friday. A statement said that Hezbollah leader Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah will make a televised address at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow on the presidential elections. Since the LF chief Samir Jaja's endorsement for the founder of the FPM, Michel Aoun, earlier this month, there has been speculation that Hezbollah will no longer consider the lawmaker its candidate for the presidency. Aoun and Nasrallah are allies, but several parties in the March 8 alliance that is led by Hezbollah are rejecting the lawmaker's candidacy and backing Marada chief MP Sleiman Frangieh instead. Syrian opposition members met for a third day to decide whether to attend UN peace talks with less than 24 hours before the negotiations are due to open in Geneva. The Saudi-backed High Negotiations Committee formed last month in an effort to unite Syria's fractious political and armed opposition, and it was waiting for clarifications from the United Nations before agreeing to attend the talks, which are to open on Friday in the Swiss city. Western diplomats have piled pressure on the opposition to take part in the negotiations, part of the biggest push yet to resolve Syria's nearly 5-year civil war. But after 2 days of meeting in the Saudi capital, the committee, which was formed to lead negotiations and insists it alone must represent the opposition, has yet to agree to participate. The committee has asked for clarifications after the UN issued invitations to other opposition figures and is demanding assurances from the international community that it will move to end regime attacks on civilians and allow humanitarian aid. Coming up next, Colombia, Ecuador, El Salvador and Jamaica are warning women to avoid getting pregnant for the time being because of the Zika disease. The latest when we return. Welcome back. You're watching the 16:20 o'clock news here on Future Television. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani agreed to host a commercial of deals during a visit to France that offers the clearest demonstration yet of the Islamic Republic's post-sanctions buying power. Rouhani was formally welcomed to Paris by Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius with military honors and national anthems for the first visit to France by an Iranian president in 17 years. It is the second leg of a trip, signaling Tehran's rapprochement with Europe following the lifting of the punishing sanctions imposed over its nuclear program. The real business of the visit will come when Rouhani officially signals Iran's intention to buy 114 passenger planes from European aircraft maker Airbus. Rouhani will also rubber stamp a deal paving the way for the return of French car maker Peugeot to Iran, according to a French government source. Although the red carpet is being rolled out for Rouhani, the Iranian opposition will hold a human rights demonstration, and Jewish groups also intend to protest in Paris. Still on Iran, well, it says it strongly opposes moves by its regional rival Saudi Arabia to allow terrorists in a new mask to sit down for talks between the Syrian government and the opposition. Preparations for Syrian peace talks due in Geneva have been beset by difficulties, including a dispute over who should be invited to negotiate with President Bashar al-Assad's government as it claws back territory with help from Russia and Iran. The Syrian government, aided by Russian airstrikes and allied militia, including Iranian forces, is gaining ground against rebels in western Syria, this week capturing the town of Sheikh Miskin near the Jordanian border. Hussein Amir Abdullahian called on Saudi Arabia to stop its actions, which he said increased tensions in the Middle East. He said that Riyadh was trying to raise its influence at the Geneva talks by including terrorists, his words, in the opposition lists. Amir Abdullahian also announced that the next round of Syrian talks in the Vienna format may take place on February the 11th. The 33-member community of Latin American and Caribbean states has agreed to launch cooperative actions to battle the ongoing Zika outbreak. Zika, which is spread by mosquitoes and blamed for a surge in brain damage babies, has spread to some 20 countries in Latin America, according to the World Health Organization. Now, there has been no known cures for the virus, but Brazil has reported 3,900 suspected cases of microcephaly since the outbreak, according to Brazil's health ministry. 49 of the babies have died. Colombia is also hit hard by the outbreak, with 13,500 infected cases reported, including dozens of babies with Zika-related microcephaly, which can cause brain damage or death in babies. In 2016, the number could rise to 600,000, according to the Colombian health minister. Colombia, Ecuador, El Salvador, and Jamaica have warned women to avoid getting pregnant for the time being. Michael Bloomberg, who is the United Nations Special Envoy for Cities and Climate Change, says the U.S. federal government has done nothing to reduce greenhouse gas emissions at a UN Investors Summit on climate risk amid talk that the former New York mayor might enter the 2016 presidential race.
You can see that in the United States, or in New York, for example, very aggressive on trying to reduce greenhouse gases and public health issues. And during 12 years, employment went up and the economy boomed better than most of the rest of the country. So we all talk about losing a few jobs, but if you want to look at the balance sheet, on one side you may lose a few jobs. You've got to net that against the new jobs that you create in where you're going, not where you came from, and then also take a look at the value of human lives. And the press focuses on losing 10 jobs. What about the 100 people whose lives have been extended? And a fair ways is to try to equivalate those, or make those equal, and or measure them in comparison. That's something like that. It's interesting when you listen to the people that rile against climate change, and in America we have a strange phenomenon going on where we don't believe in science anymore, but a lot of people say, the world is coming to an end and we're going to argue about what's in 2050. None of them are business people. Not one business person will stand up and say that. Why? Because no business person would keep his or her job if they didn't say, look, if there's a possibility of a problem, I've got to go and make sure we're protected against that. Buy an insurance policy, build a berm so the river doesn't inundate us, move our plant, clean up the air for our employees, whatever the case may be. Business people, like mayors, have a bias here, but business people like Mays do things and protect themselves against possible eventualities. They don't wait until you get hit by the truck. They try to put up a sign, don't cross here, before you get there.
The cast of the latest Kung Fu Panda franchise discussed what they believe are the downsides of voicing their characters. The cast includes star powers such as Jack Black, Kate Hudson, Dustin Hoffman, Bryan Cranston, and J.K. Simmons, to name a few. Here's a look at the behind the scenes of Kung Fu Panda 3.
Paul, you must take the next step on your journey. Incredible power awaits you. Justice is about to be served.
We'll have 2 justice platters, please. Tigress, did you want extra sauce with that?
She wants it on the side.
On the side.
On the side. I am totally ready for this.
You're not thinking straight.
I am thinking straight.
You're not. I've seen Kai. I've seen what he can do.
Yeah, well, he hasn't seen what I can do. I love the job. If I could just do, you know, animated film all the time, I would, because you wake up at 11, you stroll in your PJs, you lay down some hot tracks for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes.
But then you see the movie, and then you don't have to worry about like what you look like on screen or what that felt like. Or
and it looks like you worked your butt off. What a brilliant performance! Thank you.
It's kind of awesome.
Before the battle of the fist comes the battle of the mind. Hence, the dramatic entrance.
What's maddening about it is what was maddening about it the first time. It's not fun. It looks like it is, and there's moments that are, but it's the opposite of what most actors, myself included, have learned in terms of acting.
If you ask someone like Dustin Hoffman, he'll say he's used to having the other actors there in the room with you. We do it in isolation, like I go in and then she'll go in on another day and he'll go in on another. He likes relating with the actor that he's supposed to be communicating with because he's old school.
It makes me feel like I'm in the first year of acting, and it's like I have no talent, and there's nothing organic coming out of me because I'm trying to fulfill the colors that they think the palette should have.
Dad, what are you doing? We're not supposed to touch anything.
Oh, sorry.
Should I put it back?
Yeah, you probably should.
You look so cool, though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, I wonder what this does. I should pull it.
I think I just peed a little.
I once told him, he did a movie, Bernie, a little while ago, and I once told him at a party, I said, I really love what you did. It was so sublime, and so the way you walked was differently, the way you talked was, it was really, really great. And he said, thank you. I'm going to take that compliment, and I'm going to put it in my pocket. So I wonder if he still has it in his pocket. I'm not sure, but I thought it was a fun, refreshing way to receive a compliment.
Look away! No, you can't, can you?
Dad, why does she keep staring at me like that?
Try to keep up.
I don't really know how to dance!
Of course you do.
Help me, Dad.
Yeah, no, you're on your own.
You're doing great, son.
Your turn.
I think she's the cutest thing. She's so funny, and as Jack would say, totes adorbs. She's totes adorbs.
Yeah.
I mean, my reaction was, I thought she, especially the beginning with the fan, and her little purple eyelashes, I was like, oh, she's kind of all kinds of fabulous, isn't she?
I has returned! Who? The Master of Pain, Beast of Vengeance, Maker of Widows. Okay, I used to...
This marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our headlines. Prime Minister Tamam Salam calls for ending the vacuum in the presidency, adding that the Lebanese body cannot be complete without its head. Syrian opposition members meet for a third day to decide whether to attend UN peace talks with less than 24 hours before the negotiations were due to open in Geneva. And President Hassan Rouhani in France to show the power of Iran after the lifting of sanctions. Those are your headlines here live on this Thursday. We'll see you again tomorrow for all the latest. Have a good night.
لترشيح العماد ميشيل عون.
المعارضة السورية هي اللي تحدد من يمثلها.